This is Will Sanchez. My special guest today is Mandi Susman, a coach with Moms in Training. I first saw Mandi in this video.
We're probably actually only going to run for about 10 or 15 minutes.
New York running coach Mandi Susman.
Okay, ladies, are we ready to run? Yeah.
Mandi is here, and I'm delighted to have her on the Gotta Run TV show. Welcome, Mandi.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
Great. Before we cover Moms in Training, let's cover a little bit about where were you born, something about your childhood.
Sure. So I was born in Denver, but we moved to Hawaii when I was 5. And
tough.
Yes, it was very difficult. You know, I got to 7th grade and had to wear shoes all day. It was terrible. And I actually started running in 7th grade in junior high school.
In Hawaii?
In Hawaii. At my school, we had a track and a cross-country team, and I ran all through junior high and high school and ended up as the captain of the team for cross-country and track.
Well, how did that
happen?
Year. Because you're a good runner, or?
Actually, not so much. Being the captain was more about being the social director, so I wasn't the fastest runner, but I was friends with everybody, and I was also responsible for leading the stretches and kind of being a motivator, and that's what I really enjoyed doing.
And how old were you then?
13, 14. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the reason I asked, because you seem to have this common thread of being a motivator, a captain in your history, and you started young.
Yes.
Is that because of the way you were raised, or did you have siblings? Or
Yes, I have siblings. I have an older sister and a younger brother. I also have 2 half-brothers. So I have a, middle child thing going on, and always kind of mediating between in the family.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's related to cheering people on, but
okay. Well, people say, is it nurture or is it the environment? What makes people tick?
Yeah.
And you had a great environment, Hawaii. I mean, the weather was beautiful every day.
The weather was beautiful every day. It was always 80 degrees and sunny, usually a light breeze. It was humid, but not as bad as New York City. So it was ideal.
And you had a large family. So I guess all that nice combination made the person that you are.
Yeah, my stepfather was also a runner. He and I would run together. He ran the Honolulu Marathon, I think 4 or 5 times, and so we got some good quality time in, the 2 of us. And he was very supportive, always coming to the meets and cheering me on. And
okay, well, you were in high school. What about college?
I went to SUNY Purchase for college.
Purchase.
Yes.
I think that's a much colder environment.
Yes, it's definitely a much colder environment, but it was where I wanted to be for college, regardless of the weather. And at the time when I went there, in the late 80s, early 90s, they didn't have any kind of running program at all. So I understand now they have a beautiful cross-country course. They have acres and acres of land up there that would have been beautiful for me to run on, but we ran on the 2-mile loop around the campus. So they must have had a great major that you wanted to specialize in. What I wanted to do when I graduated from high school, I wanted to find a college that had visual arts and liberal arts, and that was close to New York City, but not in New York City, and that was SUNY Purchase. Okay, so you're a visual artist? Well, I never really pursued that. I actually ended up with a degree in philosophy and a minor in music. Interesting. Yes. Interesting. Okay. So you graduated from college. Yes. Now you got to figure out, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? Right. How did you figure that out? I ended up actually in the music business for a few years. I was lucky enough to get a position at a company. It was then called ICM Artists, and they handled the top Yo-Yo Ma, Isaac Stern, Tokyo String Quartet, all the top classical players. That's a great place to be. It was really, I was right out of college and going to Carnegie Hall and Lincoln Center every week, and it was really very special to have that as my childhood progressed into young adulthood. Okay. So that was pretty cool. And how was your running at that point? I actually had a pretty severe injury senior year in high school. I had an issue with my SI joint. And what is SI? SI, sacroiliac, the lower back down here where your tailbone connects to your hip. Oh. It was bad.
Did you fall on it, or how did you injure it?
It was a overuse, and probably bad shoes. And, this was when Nike first came out with the Air Pegasus. So, it was before there were really custom shoes. And
that put you out of commission for 5 years?
It put me out of commission for about 5 years, yeah.
And how did you, obviously, since you run now, you must have cured it.
Right. So what ended up, I just stopped running through college, didn't run at all, and I wasn't really running at, when I got out of school. I didn't have pain, but I was afraid. But I was sitting in a chair all day. And that really aggravated the injury, and to the point where I really couldn't sit in a chair and do my job. So I went to physical therapy and fixed it. They really fixed it. I have not had.
What's to do these exexercises, and they massaged it.
There was manipulation, there was massage, there was
manipulation.
Well, it was physical therapy, so it was like pushing, not necessarily
acupressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And electric stimulation.
Okay.
Like ultrasound.
Ultrasound. Yes.
That was actually, believe it or not, really painful.
Oh, the ultrasound was painful.
Yeah, because it was breaking up some scar tissue.
Yeah. After 5 years, you probably had a good amount of scar tissue.
Yeah, it was pretty painful. So,
so you did it just because you couldn't sit down and work.
Right.
And then after that,
I was able to run, but I was still very hesitant to push it more than a couple miles at a time, and I didn't sign up for any races, and I just, kind of went about my life without running.
I know you're a member of Van Cortlandt Track Club. How did that happen? Did they find you? You find them? Did you move to the Bronx?
Right. I was living in the city. I moved up to the Bronx. My husband's college roommate was in Van Cortlandt Track Club, and I had started running again. One of my really good friends from the music business was running, and she was doing marathons, and I jumped in and ran with her to help her get through mile 20 at the New York City Marathon. And she said, "Oh, isn't this great? Don't you want to run a marathon?" I said, "No." And she said, "Well, you should think about running a half. It's half the training. You could do that." At this point, I had 2 young children. I was married. I didn't really have time to run 20 miles every weekend. So I thought, well, I could do 13 miles. I know I could do 13 miles. So I started training. I ran my first half, Greta's Great Gallop, in 2009. I think it was 2009. And I finished in 2:10. And I was, I was like, okay. But I finished feeling awesome. I wasn't like spent. And I thought, okay, 2:10 was kind of a goal.
That's not an easy half. You had those hills.
The hills, but I trained in Van Cortlandt. Live in Riverdale. It's very hilly.
Okay. All right. So that was the start of something beautiful, a relationship between you and running?
Yes. And as I was training in Van Cortlandt, I see all these runners with the Van Cortlandt Track Club logos on their shirts, and I thought, track club? Well, I was in track. Maybe it could be just like old times in high school. And at the same time, my husband's friend Al was also running with Van Cortlandt. He said, "Hey, you should. They're really nice people. Just go run with them and see.
Right.
See if you find somebody to run with." Because he knew I was training for a half by myself, and that gets lonely.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. So. Were you part of the Dirty Dozen? I don't know. When I had Joanne Pate, she mentioned the Dirty Dozen. Those are the group of people that ran 12-minute miles.
I wasn't ever officially part of the Dirty Dozen, but I am friends with Joanne. So I do run with her on occasion, and I've definitely run a 12-minute mile for sure.
Okay, you were an honorary member.
Maybe.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I keep hearing so many great things about the Van Cortlandt Track Club.
It's a big family. It really is. We actually last weekend celebrated the marriage of 2 of our members. They met because of Van Cortlandt Track Club, and Dom Lombardo and Marianne Kinda. They got married on August 30th. Last week.
Last week? Oh,
yes.
okay. I thought it was an anniversary, but there's the actual marriage.
They just got married.
Did they get married on the trail?
They didn't. They didn't, but they wore running shoes for the ceremony. They have pictures of them with they got matching running shoes. It was very cute.
Because they've been planning on running afterwards, or just because
they're comfortable.
They're comfortable.
They're more comfortable than wedding shoes for sure.
Oh, well, now you said you ran the half. What was the next big race after the Greta Great Gallop?
I ran a bunch of halves.
What's your specialty?
Well, I don't know. I think I'm still working. Actually, I'm running the wine glass half coming up on October 5th. So we'll see how that goes. I'm still trying to break 150. 150
wine glass? Oh, that's pretty flat.
Wine glass is pretty flat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's only the half.
Well, last year I ran the full.
Oh, the wine glass, yes.
Last year I ran the wine glass full, and I ran it with Marianne, who just got married. We started together, and I ended up having a little bit left at the end, so I finished a little bit ahead of her and was across the finish line and coming back to look for her when I hear Dom over the loudspeaker, "Marianne, will you run the rest of your life with me?"
That was the proposal?
He proposed
right after
speaker. On the speaker, yes, with the microphone.
I guess a lot of people heard that.
A lot of people heard that. Thank God she said yes.
What happened if it was more than one Marianne? Well, I guess luckily that's a small marathon.
Right. It's not that small, actually. I mean, I think there's like 5,000 people.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's not that
when I
small.
Did it wasn't that big. I guess you know
it's gotten bigger.
It's one of the last ones you can do to qualify for Boston. So those people that didn't get New York,
right?
They either do Philadelphia or the wine glass,
right? And it was in Runner's World. The half was in that Runner's World special last year as one of the best run half marathons.
Half marathon. It's a wonderful race.
It's really a lovely race. Yeah.
You get these cool medals.
The medals are beautiful. They're really beautiful. They're hand-blown glass.
That's right, I remember. And I think when I did it, they also gave us a little bit of glass of wine, a bottle of wine.
We got a little mini bottle of champagne and a glass, a wine glass to drink.
Well, I guess they know a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So are you doing a marathon, New York? Or?
I am not doing New York this year. I'm doing New York next year. I have guaranteed entry, and that's it. I actually pushed it off an extra year. I was supposed to run 2012 when Sandy hit.
Oh.
And I deferred.
Okay.
To 2015.
Oh, great. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So that will be my next marathon, assuming I don't do one in the spring, which I don't think I will, but
Okay, but we want to get into your signature program now that I saw you on TV.
Yes.
You know, Moms in Training, and I said, "Oh, this must be a play on Team in Training." I didn't realize
it's part of Team in Training.
Moms in Training was started with the goal of providing new moms with the ability to get in shape or get back in shape, meet other moms, and of course raise money for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
I would be driven to get up every Saturday morning and run with these women that I was creating the relationships with and ultimately finishing this race.
Moms in Training was to me that new social network support group of moms that identify with me.
To get out of the house on a Saturday morning and take my daughter to get fresh air and be with other babies and laugh with other people, it was bringing me back to my old self.
The women are incredibly supportive. They're other moms. They know what you go through as a mom.
My favorite part is motivating these ladies. I think this really helps them to see when you take really good care of yourself, it makes you be a much better mother.
Moms just make a great team together, and they fight for each other, they support each other.
This is my second season coaching for them, so I don't have all the answers, but I do know that it's really made with a lot of great people. It was founded by two women who were working for Team in Training, who had babies while they were working and wanting to train, but you know,
babysitters.
We can't do a marathon, and we can't train for a marathon with little ones at home. what do we do? And they came up with Moms in Training. And they said, you know, there's a lot of moms in our situation who want to be active, particularly new moms who have the extra weight that they want to get rid of, and they want to be active, and they want to have their babies there with them, or they don't have childcare options, and they need to have some motivation. And as it turns out, there's also a lot of moms who are impacted by leukemia and lymphoma.
Who's the mama? So Alex actually has acute lymphoblastic leukemia, who is the most common type of cancer in children.
Alex's treatment will be a 2-year treatment, once a week, every Monday. We call it Chemo Mondays. Starting Thursday, as soon as I pick her up in the morning, I can tell she's feeling it. Alex's whole life is different now. She can't go to a mommy and me class. She can't ride the subway. She can't go to the supermarket because of germs.
Today I'm not myself. And you're someone else.
Really quickly they go into telling you the stats, and they say 90% prognosis, and this is the treatment plan. And you just know that you're going to beat this thing. Joining Moms in Training was definitely a great distraction for me. It gave me somewhere to put my energy other than treatment. They're raising money for a cure, and that's what we need.
So much of the research that's been funded by the Leukemia Lymphoma Society has now gone on to treat patients with all different types of cancers.
In my lifetime, we will be able to cure cancer.
So it's a combination of being healthy with your family, and also raising money for a great cause.
Cool. Now this is because you live in the Bronx, this is the Bronx chapter.
Right. This is the Riverdale, Van Cortlandt chapter.
Right. And if I recall, Team in Training usually is for halves and full, but I think Mom in Training, I think you go up to a 10K. What's the mileage?
Right. The training is for shorter races because, moms don't have time to train for half, right?
I don't know.
Moms
they do a lot.
They do. Yeah, right, they do. But the idea was to make it easy, accessible for even moms who've never run at all, who've never done any kind of exercise. So the first race that I coached for them was actually the Mini 10K. Which happens every spring, and it's an awesome race, and I was so excited that a lot of these moms, that was their very first race ever, and just the mom power, the female power that's there at that race is really amazing.
And it's probably the oldest 10K as part of New York Roadrunners.
Well, I don't know if it's the oldest 10K for Roadrunners. It might be, but it's the original all-female race.
That's right. That's right. That's what Catherine Switzer, when I had her here on the show.
Yes, I saw that.
She remembers that day. I think it was yesterday.
She was there, yeah. She was there this year announcing at the beginning of it. Yeah.
Wonderful. A very busy woman.
Yeah. She's made a difference in every female runner's life.
As well as for yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
And she's one of your heroes?
Yes.
So what are your current heroes in terms of racing? Who do you follow? Or
We're very blessed in Van Cortlandt to have some local elite runners who train in our park with us. I mean, not with Van Cortlandt. They have their own coaches, but we see them. And the one who inspires me the most is Buzinaj Diba.
She's a threat to win.
Yes. She's come in second 2 years in a row. She came in second in New York City half. She came in second in Boston. So she's due. And I have to tell you, she is the most gracious, lovely person. I greet everyone that I come in contact with when I'm out running. I say good morning to everybody, regardless of whether they're walking or running or sprinting or, if they look like they're very concentrated, I don't bother them, but she says good morning every day.
And her husband is also a delight worker.
Delightful.
He was the most popular pacer in our group.
Everybody.
We couldn't, only our best ones could keep up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he put them to a challenge.
I'm sure. The day after the Boston Marathon this year,
yes,
we were at Van Cortlandt Track.
Yes.
Tuesday night track workout. Every Tuesday, 7 o'clock. That's when we're there. And who was there? we saw her across the way and went sprinting across to congratulate her and tell her that we were watching and
her Boston performance.
Yes,
yes.
And very
wonderful.
Gracious and
yes. Well, New York is blessed. All the boroughs have a story like that, which is great.
Yeah.
I remember reading a little bit of your bio that you do something with the internet or social media. Or something.
I do, yes.
Does that come into play in the way you coach your those moms and those newbies?
We use Facebook a lot. For there's a closed group for just the Riverdale moms so that we can one, motivate. I like to do motivational things all through the week, but also to just communicate about the weather looks bad, let's make sure we're there on time so that we can get it done early, or those kinds of things. It's going to be really hot, bring extra water.
Okay.
Just to have some communication on a regular basis. But I also have a Facebook group called First Time Marathoners, which I started for my first marathon, to kind of collect the people that I know who are marathoners to help me with my training, and it's still going strong. We have over 200 members from a lot of different countries, mostly in the U.S., but we also have folks from Mexico and England and Ireland. And
this is the internet. You would have everybody. So this is an open group, and people help each other out, especially the first ones doing the first marathon.
Yeah, so people ask questions. We had a guy join just the other day who was getting ready for his marathons on October 12th, and he said he was asking questions about fueling, and I know that my it took me 9 minutes through my whole run to drink and fuel. So how do I, that's too much time during my race, so how do I deal with fueling during my marathon and drinking that? And so people from all over the country chime in with different things that they've tried, and it's a
well, the best advice is experiment and get it down for you. Right, because everybody's an experiment of one.
Right.
What works for me may not work for you.
Yeah, and that's why it's great to have a group like this, because you get a lot of different perspectives. Because someone may, I run with a water bottle in my hand when I do a half or a full.
Okay.
I bring my own water, which a lot of people think is the wrong thing to do.
Yeah,
but it works for me. That's how I train.
Exactly. That's right.
I train with the bottle.
That's right.
So that's how I train, that's how I race. And that's another bit of advice that I always give to people. Don't do anything different on race day. And I also get my sips, I just get a sip out of the, the squeeze as opposed to pouring it, which doesn't always work for me.
The cups it's a personal. Well, that's a nice thing about running. It's a social thing. It's also a personal thing. You're really there to better your own personal time rather than anybody else's time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think running is obviously a terrific thing to do.
It is.
Keep on moving.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
But the video I saw a lot of them pushing the carriages. So
yes. Every workout is built to be stroller friendly. Every workout is for strollers, so that moms can bring their kids.
Okay, and you don't need to park the stroller somewhere. Then
right.
Oh, because the kids are there too.
The kids are in the strollers, right? So they don't need care, right? Child care.
There must be some interesting stories about that. The kids need some attention, or they probably love being pushed to the.
They mostly love being pushed. What ends up happening is they're great while we're running, and then we stop to do our stretches.
They cry.
And they want to get out and run around, and stretching doesn't always happen, and it falls apart at that point. But that's okay.
Okay. Are there any guys and moms in training?
There are no men and moms in training, but we actually Team in Training just started Dads in Training. So they're starting a program just for dads. So this program is really just for moms, although the Riverdale team last season, our inaugural season in the spring, had a male coach. And
for the moms in training?
Yes. We had a male coach. Jeremy was the head coach, and I was Betty and I were assistant coaches. And Jeremy is now a new dad. His baby was born July 4th, July 3rd or 4th.
Of this year?
Of this year, right after the mini. The mini's in June.
And so he had the idea, I want to start dads in training.
Yeah, I don't know if he's doing that. Actually, he's a longtime coach for Team in Training, and he is coaching the marathon program.
What's his name again?
Jeremy Krushka.
Krushka. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
great.
Really great guy.
Great.
Really
We'll give him some notice.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. Way to go, Jeremy. All right. Well, Mandi, since we're almost out of time, what are some of your personal goals that are coming up?
Well, I'm really excited about coaching for moms. So that's starting. The season is starting right now. So
This is season number 2?
Season number 2 for me. We're training for the 4-miler, the Race to Deliver, on November 23rd, and all throughout New York City, there's teams. So if you're not in the Bronx, just look up Team in Training, and you'll find the moms. And
so there's
and
moms in Manhattan.
There's a bunch of teams in Manhattan, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens. Every borough has a chapter. So
excellent, moms in training.
Yeah.
Great. Well, listen,
and I have the Fifth Avenue Mile coming up too.
That's coming up Saturday. Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, when this airs,
when is this going to air?
This will air a couple of weeks, so that'll be over.
Yeah.
So, but we'll wish you luck.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for coming in.
I really had a great time. Thank you for having me. Thanks, Will.